Good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining us in person and online for this presentation. My name is Jean-François Duclos, and I'm teaching French here at MSU Denver. So if you are interested in learning my language and my culture, sign up for one of my classes, okay? Laurent, today I have the pleasure to introduce you to French artist Laurent Mulot. Laurent is in Lyon right now, where the time is about 5:30 p.m., and so he's joining us through Teams. So thank you to the Kavea and Toby for making that connection possible. Thank you very much for Gabrielle for putting this together on behalf of DeFi, and also thank you to the Alliance Française for making a bit of advertising for the event. Laurent started his career as a sculptor, working mostly on large metal artifacts, and then perhaps wisely he switched to photography and multimedia installations. And for the last 20 years he has been working on a fascinating project entitled Middle of Nowhere. The title is in English. And the purpose of this presentation is to give you a first introduction to this work. Now, while Laurent speaks, I would like you to keep in mind the fact that the word nowhere can carry different meanings. It can mean a place that doesn't exist. It can mean a place that is very remote, considered uninteresting, and not worth visiting. But if you split nowhere into two words, then you have now and here. You know, the moment, the instant. And that conveys a sense of intimacy, which is almost the opposite of the word nowhere. So this tension between presence and absence is, I believe, what makes this artistic journey so fascinating. I'm using the word journey or travel because Laurent has traveled all around the world to complete this project over the last 25 years. He's been to Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Brazil, France, obviously, Morocco, Russia, China, everywhere. And you'll see why it was so important for him to go there, meet some scientists, meet some indigenous people, and trying to make the connection between the modern world, the world of science, and also the world that is known by indigenous peoples. So please join me in welcoming Laurent Mulot. The floor is yours, Laurent.
Okay. Thank you, Jean-François. Before we begin, I would like also to thank the MSU, the Metropolitan State University of Denver, for hosting the event, and in particular the KVA team. And thank you also to the Denver Project for Humanistic Inquiry, DeFi, for organizing this talk. Special thanks to you, Jean-François, and also to Gabriel Grünsteiner for envisioning and moderating this event. And thank you to all of you who are attending today's event, both in person and remotely. I would like to apologize for my imperfect English and to thank you in advance for your patience. Well, so my name is Laurent Mulot. My work as a visual artist started 40 years ago. I've been using photography, video, sound, sculpture, and performance. I've shown my art in the form of multimedia installations in museums, in private galleries in multiple countries, as Jean-François said, including France, of course, Europe, China, Brazil, Russia, Australia, Argentina. And today I'm inviting you to discover my work in the form of a journey on every continent, every sea of our planet and beyond. It will last approximately 50 minutes. It summarizes a project that took me more than 20 years to complete. It is called Middle of Nowhere. This presentation also coincides with the publication of a bilingual book, French and English, with the same title. Your university library has a copy, so you can easily access it. And of course, Middle of Nowhere is a presence and the internet with a dedicated website. You can easily find it if you enter my name and Middle of Nowhere. So I choose to present Middle of Nowhere using the website because this is the virtual side of my work as an artist. And after our meeting, if you are interested, you can come back to the website and watch more videos, see more pictures, read some text at your own pace, and contact me if you wish to. So, does that sound okay, Jean-François? Is it all right?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So the image you see on the screen, I hope so, was done with my camera attached to a telescope, targeting a point in the Mediterranean Sea, South France, where captors are trying to catch the elusive neutrino particle. You will soon find out that I've worked, as Jean-François said, a lot with scientists and in particular physicists who are trying to solve the biggest mystery of the universe, no less. This image belongs to a video and refers to work we're going to see later. The name of this work is Aganta Keros. We're going to see that. So this image is also the one I choose for the cover of my book. So if we enter into the website, we just step on a certain horizon, just because I think that artists, as all researchers, are working on this type of horizon. We can make some hypotheses, but we never know where this hypothesis will lead us. So this is really a work uncertain. And when we go through this horizon, we arrive to the home page of the website. You can see 8 pictograms, like 8 gates to enter in the work, and each of them will lead you some place in the Middle of Nowhere project, and the 8 form like a puzzle, the entire project. So today we're gonna see just 3 or 4 of them because we have not the time to see all. And I would like to begin with a short look with the one on the left, named LH. This is the initial of my birth town, which is called Le Havre. It's a town in the northwest of France, in Normandy, just facing England. And Le Havre is a city was bombed during the Second World War, totally bombed, totally destroyed, and erased. And I say that because when I was a kid, in the late 50s and in the 60s, I always heard the older around me, parents, grandparents, or the family and friends of the family, speaking about a town which disappeared, a town which doesn't exist anymore. And like I was there and only see the new ones, a new city, rebuilt. And the image of another city underneath was really strong to me at this time. So, and this impacted me a lot for the work after. And the other thing is you can see on this image the horizon. because when you are living in this town, Le Havre, 24 hours a day, you see ships getting out and coming in. So the question very, very fast comes that what is beyond this horizon? So I did a lot of work linked to Le Havre, and one of them in particular in Canada. So if you come back to the website after our talk, you can see elements of this work. But these 2 points are very, I think, and very important to me in my work after. So if we come back to the home page, we will enter in maybe the main gate, which is calling the Ghost Contemporary Art, because this is really the foundation of the Middle of Nowhere project. So this idea of the Ghost Contemporary Art came during a trip in Australia, from Western Australia to Eastern Australia, from Perth to Sydney. And I was traveling on the train, and the train stopped in a ghost town. The train stopped in the ghost town of Cook, and just stopped there for 90 minutes just to refuel, to retank some water, to unload the waste, and just stay in this small city 90 minutes. And as we arrived there, I learned that this city became ghost because of the globalization. At this time, we were in 2001, the globalization was at its peak. Financial, business, industrial globalization was really exploding everywhere in the world. Even in art, Biennales, this big exhibition, was really were flourishing around the world. And Cook became a ghost town because the Australia decided to sell the National Railway Company to a multinational, a private company. And as the private company bought it, they fired out 90% of the maintenance worker. And here at Cook, there was only maintenance worker with their family. They were living there, approximately 300 people living there, kids and family and workers. There was an hospital, a school, a community center, everything to make the life possible. And as it was firehouse, everything shut down. They closed the hospital, they closed the school, the community center, everything shut down. So there's no more money, no job, so they went away. Everybody went away, except two. And this is the second point that really intrigued me. So first is Cook was kind of side effect of the globalization. Second thing is, as I said, that everybody went away except two people, a couple. And Cook is really isolated. You can imagine that this is 500 miles from Cook to the first city on the east side or west side. At this time in 2001, there is no internet. And a telephone really, working time to time. So they were really isolated. So the question for me was, how they can stand it, how they live there, and what is the feeling when the train disappears, the train stopped there 2 or 3 times a week, the science of the desert, and this apparition of people and disapparition of people. What was really, happening in that situation. And the third thing, which was really the tipping point for me, was that in the Disio school, the abandoned school, I found two drawings, and they were lying on the floor. These two drawings, they were drawn by two pupils, Tamara and William, several years ago, and just stay there in the Disio school, and they were, showing wombats, the small marsupial, who come out at night, like the ghost. And these drawings really appears to me like messages in a bottle. So I took them. And after days and days in the train, after Cook, I was thinking about this ghost town, the side effect of globalization, this couple staying there, and these two drawings. And these two drawings became really more than a message in a bottle, but an invitation to come back. So I did. And I did come back 2 years after, and meet the couple, Ivor and Janet. Sorry, Ivor and Janet. Yeah, please. And I met them and make some pictures and interview of them, and we make some photography and videos with my assistant from Sydney. And for instance, I chose to make some photos with infrared film. Why? Because as you know, in the daylight, in infrared film, inverse the colors. So what you see there in red is in fact green. This is eucalyptus. It was for me in the photos. Because at Cook there is no water. So Cook is a kind of place really upon the soil, totally artificial. And my idea was that Cook was so artificial, like a work of art. And maybe if I put some art in it, maybe Cook will become a piece of art itself. So that was the idea. And this idea I share with Ivor and Janet. And I propose them to establish a ghost contemporary art center. And they accept it. They accept to be the caretakers of the first ghost contemporary art center of middle of nowhere. The idea was, as I said, put a little bit of art in Cook, and also to put in Cook a trace of art, a thought of art, with a poetic gesture, with a plaque. So we inaugurate the Ghost Contemporary Art Center at Cook. We put a plaque, you can see there, and after that, a year after, I came back to the first exhibition of the middle of nowhere for the Visual Art Festival in Adelaide. And Ivor and Janet make me the great honor and the great pleasure to open the exhibition. They came with their pickup truck from Cook to Adelaide, South Australia. It is something like 1,200 miles from Cook, and they came there to open the exhibition. If Gabriel or Toby can display this video, it will be great. You will hear Ivory Janet open the exhibition. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to open the art exhibition of the Cook Country. Ghost.
Contemporary
Art Centre.
Art Centre.
Oh, that's too hard.
Sorry.
Here, put it over here. I've got to learn it.
Okay. Yeah.
We saw the video.
Okay. Is this finished?
Yes.
Because I didn't see it.
Yes, we saw it.
Okay. So after this inauguration and exhibition, it was obvious for me that the question of globalization at this time was really important and central. So I said, okay, there is Biennale around the world, in the big cities like Shanghai, Tokyo, New York, Paris, Sao Paulo, okay, and multinational everywhere. So I will do my own multinational, and I will establish 6 Ghost Contemporary Art Center on the 6 continents, like a kind of inverse globalization and special place, not really designated to that. So I went on, and I did some in China. In China, I've been chose to, after an exhibition in Shanghai, I chose to go in the middle of China, in the middle of the country of the middle, in the center of China. So I went there with a GPS and with one of my daughter who was speaking Chinese. That was really helpful. And we arrived the GPS in a rice field, and the GPS ring. You are in the center of China. And we turned around and see a farm. We went there and met a family with 2 kids and asked them if they would like to be the second caretakers of the second Ghost Contemporary Art Center of middle of nowhere. They accepted, and we stayed with them 10 days and come back 6 months after, and we put a plaque, inaugurate, etc. And so I did the same thing on the other continents, in Africa, in Amazonia, Brazil, in Europe, and in a village with a mayor, a council, but no inhabitants. And each time there's a special story in a really special place. And after that, that took me nearly 8-9 years to establish all that. I finished by Antarctica. And in Antarctica, there is only scientists there. And they inaugurate the 6th Ghost Contemporary Art Center of middle of nowhere. And I made an exhibition in Paris to conclude this establishment. And I would like to show you this installation. Toby, please, if you can display this image on the big screen. To show you the way I'm working on installation. So image is okay? Yeah. So on this image, you can see 6 portraits there. If you see my mouse there, 6 portraits behind of the 12 caretakers of the Ghost Contemporary Art Center. And on the floor, a big screen there, writings on the ceiling. And this piece, this work, is calling now a melting here. So I put the melting between now and here. As Jean-François told at the beginning, sometimes a disconnect the now and the here to really work with the term of space and time. So I put melting between, because there is some, as you can see, isolator suspending there, and this is the initial, the acronym of the last Ghost Contemporary Art Center, Antarctica Ghost Contemporary Art Center. And at this time, it was in 2011, the exhibition was held in Written Center in Paris. Scientists already warned about the global warming, and these letters were melting during the opening. And more people were there around the installation, faster the letter were melting. So, and at the end of the opening, they only left some water and the mirror and no letter there. So this is also the way for me to work about visibility and invisibility and apparition and disapparition. So yeah, we can go on if everything is okay. Yeah, the website, everything, the sound, all right, okay. So after all that, I began really to meet some scientists. And in Antarctica, I was working with scientists because there is only scientists there. And also for the Biennale here in Lyon, France, I met a physicist, Jean-Paul Martin, which is a specialist of antimatter question. And as you know, maybe for me, I learned at this time, matters need antimatters to exist. But the question here is for the physicists, where the antimatter is. Maybe today there is an anti-Laurent Mulot making an anti-talk with an anti-public in the anti-universe, maybe, but we never know. What we know that there is a big experiment called the Large Hadron Collider near Genova, Switzerland, and that Jean-Paul took me there, and this incredible experiment. This experiment, the Large Hadron Collider, is a big ring of nearly 22 miles of circumference. And in this ring, they project packet of proton in one direction and other packet in other direction. And they observe the collision of the proton. And they try to understand and to analyze what's happened 14 billion years ago at the beginning of the universe. And there is 4 experiments that analyze these collisions. So I visit the installation, and what is really the big surprise there is that when you're on surface, you can't guess that only 100 yards below, there is this kind of experiment with particle at the speed of light. And the condition of the beginning of the universe, just very close. But the space and time there in the experiment is a quantic one. So there is nothing to see with our condition of life. So the point for me was to make a series of photography, diptych, as you can see there, for instance. And the protocol was that when I shot with my camera on the surface, I noted the time, the duration of the shoot, and sent it to the physicist. And they sent me back a graphic of the collision of the proton just below at the time I did the photography. So I did the same with the video. And it was, for me, the way to show the incompatibility of the two space and time. But this is possible with photography and with video. If you come back to the website later, you can see the video and hear the sounds, because we make, with my composer, Christian Perret, we make sounds and music with the graphic, with the colors of the graphic of the scientist. We made a transcription from this graphic to the sound. And so if you come back, you can hear the sound and watch a video of Augenblick, this word. Augenblick is a German word that means the light to get out from the eyes and the light coming in the eyes. Well, so after that, after Augenblick, I met a lot of scientists and physicists, and that led me to another experiment. And this experiment is the image I show you at the beginning of my talk. The image when I put the camera on a telescope targeting a point in the Mediterranean Sea, because there is some copters under the sea where they try to catch a neutrino. Neutrino is a particle, a cosmic particle, coming from the sky, coming from the sun, the galaxy, other galaxy, and maybe from the beginning of the universe, still traveling in the universe at the speed of light, and crossing everything. Nothing stops a neutrino. You are at this time crossing by billions of neutrinos. Me too. And so these neutrinos enter in the Earth, cross the Earth, and, for instance, come in Madagascar here. Madagascar, you know, it's a big island on the east of South Africa in the Indian Ocean. So neutrino come in and get out on the other side of the Earth in the Mediterranean Sea. And this neutrino is catched by the scientists. So when I begin to work with scientists, I ask them to give me a map of the entering of neutrino they detect. So with this map, I chose to go at the point where the neutrinos was coming in. And so here, for instance, we are in the territory of the Mahafali tribe. This is a tribe living in Madagascar. So I went there and met the people there and asked them if they were there on the 21st of January 2010, because a neutrino was entering there. And so they say, yes, we were there. So I explained my story about this cosmic ghost particle. And I say, okay, so you were there, the neutrino is invisible, but this particle is coming from the sky, crossing the Earth, and with that, maybe we can make a link between you and other people on the other side of the Earth. And so we make a lot of conversation, and the question for them was, okay, is the neutrino good or bad? Is the neutrino evil or good? So I say, neutrino is not good, it's not bad, but neutral. So this is no problem. So they told me, yeah, so you see, just in our village, there is a pond, a little lake, where we put all the umbilical cords of the newborn baby. When they're born, we cut the umbilical cord and put in the pond. Why? Because on the other side, there is a sacred lake where the soul of our ancestor are. And so, by the way, we make a link between the newborn baby and our ancestor, and all that go to the stars and come back to the village. So your neutrino coming from the sky is welcome. And if we can make a link with other people on the other side of the earth, that's great. So, okay, for celebrating it. So we put a plague, make a celebration, what I call performance. And after that, I decided to go on the other 5 oceans and also in other place, like for instance, on the Baikal Lake. You can see the captors here plunging the Baikal Lake, because the Baikal Lake, it's the deepest lake on the world. This is kind of 1,600 yards deep of pure water. So they put captors here. And so I've been in several places, and each time I met some people with a big tradition. Here in Siberia, near the Baikal Lake, this shaman has really a particular way to understand what we call nature. And we have some really great conversation about that. And Valentin is the name of the shaman. Made a celebration of the work, and he really participated on it. Each time there is some meeting like that with indigenous people, like in New Zealand with the Maori people, like in Greenland with Inuit people. For instance, in Greenland, they told me that their divinity was deep in the Arctic Ocean. So the captures of neutrinos in the deep ocean for them was really all right. And so together we put a plague also and celebrate the ghost particle neutrinos. So that's really to tell you the way I'm working with people, with a few people at the beginning, and after with a photography, with a video, with installation, sculpture. I show it in exhibition with other people. So I don't know if I'm on time, Jean-François, it's okay for the time? Yeah. Okay, so the last work, just to finish this work, this work was concluding by with the U.S. experiment on the South Pole, geographic South Pole, the ice cube experiment, where there is a detector captors of neutrino in the deep ice. They put some captors there, and so the experiment ice cube accept to being to join this work, and in 2021 they inaugurate a plaque there on the South Pole and celebrate the work Aganta Keros, and we put a permanent plaque 2 years after in 2023, and these 4 scientists make the operation. They film, they do the inauguration, and they were really great and participate to the work. And so the work was complete. The 5 oceans, the Baker Lake, the Antarctica, and everybody, all the guys, they can you see on these pictures are really part of the work and make a community, and they communicate together. So after this work, I was warned by another scientist team that they're gonna work in a forest with 1,000 years old tree, and asked me if this research interests me. So they study this 1,000 years old tree for many reasons, because they can analyze and see in the rings of the tree many things, like the density of the atmosphere, a lot of things about climate, and understand the global warming, how the global warming is working, and also because these trees are very old, when they take some sample from the tree, they can analyze year after year the condition of life on the Earth. And also they can maybe detect some big cataclysm of the universe, like for instance explosion of supernovae. And they were interested really in one event, the visibility of a supernova that exploded 6,000 years ago and was visible on Earth in the year of 1054, and to watch if in the ring they can see traces of the cosmic particle. So when they warn me about that and invite me to come with them in the forest, in primary forest, to see this tree, informed me about the people living around there. And around this forest, it's in the middle of Patagonia, really South America, Argentina, deep south, and I found there that was living there some community of Mapuche. It's indigenous people living there since 2,000 years. And so I began to talk with the Mapuche, make contact with them, and learn that these trees, the 1,000 years old tree, which are cypress, it's a cupress of cypress, they call it a Lawal. And Lawal means the one which memory doesn't die. That is to say that they consider this tree, this special tree, like really a common memory for them, because the tree is living long time ago, long time. And what was really interests me is that the scientist considers a tree like a clock, an absolute clock, because each ring informs them about the situation, and really precisely. They put samples in accelerator and they really analyze what is and get a lot of information. For them, it's really absolute clock. And for the Mapuche, it's a memory that they celebrate. So Mapuche does not consider that there is a human and nature, but only consider that we are part of it. There is no border between what we call nature and human being. And like a lot of First Nation people. And here, was this correlation between the scientist and the Mapuche, the absolute clock and the memory for the Mapuche. It was a protocol of my photography. You can see diptych here when there is a view of the biotop of the tree, and here it's a microscope using by the scientist, and our way to understand nature, to try to understand nature, what we call nature for the scientists, with really big instrument, a big technology, very strong technology. And the Mapuche really with, on the other side, with a feeling and another conception with the relationship with nature. So to conclude this work, I decided to make again a celebration, and I asked some Mapuche, some scientists, some inhabitants in this area, this primary forest. I asked them if they would like to make a celebration. And so we did. We put a plaque again and plant a 1,000-year-old tree. And we make this celebration all together. So, Toby, if you want to display this video.
Mai mai kumpuche, ichabain tu kumilao pengen, ka tukundungwang ka pu pai bulangwen. Mulelo twachi kadao, inala camping e karola kan twachi mapumu, ka trau pai twachi cheka. Pero mangen mai, kuma tripai twachi kadao, ka inchita kelju kompai twamo, ka muta kupai tani akai ka tukundungwai tani win tukuntat.
En marzo de 2023, al borde del Lago Verde, una asamblea humana compuesta por personas de diferentes orígenes e historias se reunió para celebrar el Lawan Quilcas, una obra del artista francés Laurent Mulot, que rinde homenaje a todos los seres vivos, a la memoria cósmica que llevan dentro y que transmiten de generación en generación, de ciclo en ciclo, a imagen de aquel cuya memoria no muere. El milenario árbol Lawan, el alerce patagónico, con la valiosa ayuda de muchos participantes que se encuentran en www.morf.org.
Buenos días, muchas gracias a todos, gracias por la invitación para participar. Mi nombre es Mariano Tomás y bueno, en mi caso doblemente agradecido de participar con la confección de la placa y por poder aportar un alerce que empezamos a producir hace solo 5 o 6 años. Este es uno de los primeros ejemplares que pudimos propagar por esqueje y bueno, muy contento de poder ofrecerlo para que sea plantado en este lugar tan especial y que vuelva a compartir hábitat con sus congéneres. Muchas gracias.
Yeah. So thank you. You can start it this video now. And yeah, so yeah, you can. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So that was what I can say rapidly on the work. So thank you very much for your attention. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laurent. The floor is yours now. Any questions?
Yeah, if you have any question or precision, I will be happy to. Mythology and the unbelief to the story I was bringing. And a lot of things happen, you know. For instance, this plague you see there, the president of the village. Yeah, you see the image on your screen of the plague, and
Yes.
yeah, okay. For instance, this plague, we put the plague in. The president of the village told me, yeah, it's okay. I'm really agree with that, Lauren. But on the other side of the plague, can we write forbidden to Zebu? because to zebu, because when there is a market, the zebu crosses the line, and you see disturbers in the village. So I say that because the work is always meeting the life of the people, and of course, it's the chance to be could say to arrive to connect with people with my idea of bringing some try to bring a political gesture or a grain of sand of art someplace. Mm-hmm. But the people really each time took that and make it own for them. Mm-hmm. And for this work, for instance, I was very surprised that indigenous mythology will take a big part of the work everywhere.
Thank you. Another question? Yes.
I was just wondering, like, how you pick the places that you're going to go. Is it kind of just random, and how long you stay there to get your message captured?
Yeah, if I understand, you told me if I how many times I stay, or
how long do you stay in one place?
Yeah, it depends. For instance, here I stayed 15 days, and in this place, sometimes more. Sometimes I come back 2 times. Sometimes it's never short, but yeah, sometimes I'm coming 2 times. And it depends of the situation. It depends of also this place, for instance, in Madagascar, is really remote and really difficult to be there because the road, there is no road. You have to take the boat and after another boat, and it's not easy to come there. So it depends of the location. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Laurent. My name is Teresa Castaneda. I am a 2D Foundations professor here at MSU. I have brought my class today, and I introduced the project. We were in correspondence, I think. I had sent you an idea, and you sent back the pictures of the wombats. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you that I introduced the project today as a subtopic in perspective lesson, and I will send you what we come up with.
Okay, good, fine.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I think I sent you the 2 drawings, and Tamara and William. Yeah, maybe they can inspire. Yeah, about this drawing, I found there in the desolate school. There, drew by Tamara and William. And Jean-François knows about it because he was in Australia at this time. But I finally met these authors of the drawings. They did maybe 10 or 15 years, but no, more than that, 20 years before, and left in the school because they were living at Cook. And as I told you, they were obliged to move, and they were living after in Adelaide. And so for the opening of the exhibition in Adelaide, they were there also with Ivory Janet, with a teacher who asked them to draw about wombats. There was like a big family meeting at the exhibition. So the spirit of the work is also there. I meant the relationship with the public. For me, is really important. The relationship with the public, of course, during the exhibition and the opening, but also at the beginning of the work. I'm really for an art which is making with people around.
And if my memory serves me well, when you met the two adults that drew these wombats when they were children, they gave you permission to use the drawings. You became the guardian of their own memories.
Sure. Yeah. No. Mm.
Yes, Gabrielle.
This is a question from online. Somebody was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about your approach to explaining physics experiments to indigenous peoples who might have not even encountered the scientific process.
Okay. Yeah. You mean to for me? Yeah. You need some precision about the meeting with indigenous people. Yeah, that's it.
Say when you go to Madagascar and you explain the principles or the concepts of elementary particles and Big Bang.
Yeah.
How do you explain that to them? How do you make them that understood by them? Because you have to create your own mythology, basically based on scientific facts, to meet their cultural myth as well.
Yeah. You know, because first I'm not a scientist, so I just count the story. The stories that scientists really give me. So what I noticed everywhere is that people, and of course I was speaking about this question of nature, and this is, I think, the point, because this First Nation people, as you know, doesn't consider that there is nature beside, you know, but they're part of it. This is really important because, for instance, in Madagascar, you are living with the stars and with the lake, and as I say, with the communication between lakes, town, stars, sun, and every element. And there is a kind of circulation of all this, and there is no frontier, border between all that. So when you are saying that there is a particle coming from the sky, there is no problem. And something invisible, there is no problem, because they are used to live with it. And this is with the Mapuche in Argentina, it was the same. With the Maori in New Zealand, also, you know, I was working there with a physicist, Pauline Harris, which is a specialist of high energy particle, neutrinos, but also anthropologist. And because she's Maori, she studied the both. I say the mythology of the Maori and the experimental science. It is not to say that this is the same thing, not at all, but to really maybe respond to your question, Gabriel, the question you gave me, the simple thing is that the questions are similar. The questions are, where do we come from? Where, the simple question. What is the reason why we are there, and how it's possible, and what is the universe, and are we alone there? We are lost in the universe or not? You know, the questions are really the same. So from this question, you can really get in communication and in touch with them.
Well, I think there's no better answer to end this discussion. Thank you so much, Laurent, for taking the time to present your work to us.
Okay. Okay. Thank you to your attention too. I hope it was not too long.
No, not at all, not at all. And everyone can now just run to their next class. So that's great. Thank you to all of you who came in person and online. And again, Laurent's work is highly visible on the internet. Just enter his name, middle of nowhere, and you can visit this further. So thank you again, and have a great day. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.